But first, The War Zone was among the first publications to report on Israel's shocking strike on Iran. On June 13, TWZ quoted an anonymous Israeli official who stated simply, "The attack has just begun in Iran. We are in a nationwide state of emergency." TWZ notes that Israel initially remained silent about the strike on Iran, most likely because the operation was still underway, and they did not want to reveal critical information. When the Israel Defense Forces issued a statement, they announced that they had carried out what they called a preventive and precise strike on Iran's nuclear facilities and on several senior officials of the Iranian regime. A short while ago, under the orders of the political leadership, the Israel Defense Forces launched a preventive, precise, and combined offensive based on high-quality intelligence to strike Iran's nuclear program in response to the Iranian regime's ongoing aggressions against Israel, the statement read. Dozens of Israeli Air Force fighter jets have completed the first phase, which included strikes on multiple military targets, including nuclear sites, located in different regions of Iran. The statement explained that Israel resorted to this attack because the Iranian regime is conducting a direct and indirect campaign of terror against the State of Israel, financing and coordinating terrorist activities through its proxies across the region, while advancing toward acquiring a nuclear weapon. Israel also maintains that Iran has openly declared its goal to destroy the State of Israel. The Natanz nuclear facility was one of the first confirmed targets. The Clash Report X account made this news public, accompanied by an 18-second video that appeared to show smoke rising from the flaming wreckage of the site. This facility is part of Iran's nuclear program and is protected by a concrete shield. All of this makes Natanz an obvious target for Israel if it seeks to destroy Iran's developing nuclear capabilities. But Natanz was not the only site struck by Israel during Operation Rising Lion. If Natanz is a nuclear facility, Piranshar is a city located in the western province of Azerbaijan near the border with Iraq. The Thomas Van Linge X account shared an initial image that seemed to show smoke rising from a building hit by the Israeli airstrike. A later post from the same account included a video showing numerous secondary explosions at a targeted site in the city. Van Linge speculated that Israel struck Piranshar because it housed an Iranian munitions depot. The devastating picture drawn by Israel through Operation Rising Lion is becoming clearer. Yes, it was a precise operation in terms of the targets hit, but it was not an attack concentrated on a single objective. Israel struck multiple locations in Iran, all minutes or hours apart, in a coordinated series of airstrikes intended to destroy some of the country's most important nuclear and military facilities. There are suggestions that the attack was made possible both by the presence of Israeli forces on the ground in Iran and by the failure of Iran's air defenses. In addition to the extensive strikes by the Israeli Air Force, Mossad conducted a series of covert counterterrorism operations deep inside Iran. These operations were designed to damage Iran's strategic missile arsenal and its air defense capabilities. This suggests that Rising Lion was not a simple airstrike. Israel must have planned this operation for weeks, perhaps even months, if it succeeded in infiltrating Mossad agents into Iran before the attack. The presence of these agents also explains why Israel was able to inflict so much destruction, while Iran seemed unable to respond. The official suggests that Mossad agents carried out sabotage operations to neutralize Iran's air defenses at key points, creating the openings needed for the Israel Defense Forces to unleash a barrage of missiles and bombs on multiple high-value targets. And by target, we don't mean only a nuclear facility, an ammunition depot, and a few buildings in Tehran. Israel also targeted people. It is said that the Chief of Staff of the Iranian Armed Forces, Major General Mohammad Bagheri, is among those killed in the Israeli strikes. The New York Times confirmed this report, adding that Israel managed to eliminate the man who was the second-ranking commander in Iran's armed forces after the country's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. and Bagheri was only the beginning. Israel's strikes also eliminated General Hossein Salami, the commander of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. Israel is said to have targeted that building specifically to kill Salami, thereby succeeding in eliminating two of Iran's most important military leaders. General Gholam Ali Rashid, who was deputy commander-in-chief of Iran's armed forces, was also killed in these strikes. Beyond military personnel, Israel also targeted some of Iran's most important nuclear scientists. Mohammad Mehdi Tehranchi, a theoretical physicist and president of Azad Islamic University in Tehran, was killed. So was Faridun Abbasi, the former head of Iran's Atomic Energy Organization. There was only one bright spot for Iran. Although Israel eliminated some of the country's most important military and nuclear figures, it failed to kill Ali Khamenei himself. What is unfolding here appears to be a clear decapitation strategy accompanying Israel's strikes on key nuclear facilities and major military bases in Iran. Within 24 hours, at least 6 of Iran's most important military and nuclear minds were eliminated, with the goal of creating chaos within the structures they led. Khamenei has just lost some of his most trusted advisors. He has also lost some of the country's brightest minds, pushing Iran's nuclear program close to a total standstill. This is a major event, and it leads to the obvious question: why did Israel do this? The answer has already been suggested, since the Israel Defense Forces' initial statement explained that the attack was preemptive, both because of Iran's proxy war against Israel and because of Iran's firm refusal to halt its nuclear program. Of these two issues, the latter seems to have been the most important. Although commentators will certainly debate in the coming days how urgent Israel's strike on Iran truly was, there is no dispute over the fact that Iran has come dangerously close to building a nuclear weapon. In March, Iran Watch published an estimated timeline of how long it would take Iran to construct a nuclear weapon. It noted that Iran still does not possess weapons-grade uranium, that is, uranium enriched to 90% or more in the isotope U-235. But it is very close and could begin enriching to 90% at any moment. Iran Watch shows that Iran possesses up to about 269 kilograms of uranium, enriched to 60% in the isotope U-235. This is enough material for between 5 and 8 nuclear weapons. Iran could reach the 90% level with this stockpile in about 2 weeks, if it decided to accelerate nuclear weapons production. The Council on Foreign Relations published an article on June 12, analyzing Iran's nuclear capabilities. It confirms that Iran does not yet possess nuclear weapons. However, the article adds that Western analysts say the country has the knowledge and infrastructure needed to produce a nuclear weapon in a relatively short time if its leaders chose to do so. Implicitly, it was only a matter of time before Iran built a nuclear warhead. The only thing that seemed to be holding it back was awareness of the severe international backlash such an action would trigger. Will Iran allow that reaction to hold it back after Operation Rising Lion? Only time will tell. Israel may also have been driven to act by a gesture made by Iran on June 13, just hours before the Israeli attack. On May 31, the UN nuclear watchdog reported that Iran had stockpiled roughly 408 kilograms of uranium, enriched to 60%. This represented an increase of about 134 kilograms compared to the last inspector's visit in February, showing that Iran had no intention of complying with the rules of the International Atomic Energy Agency in Vienna, which are meant to limit uranium enrichment. The UN condemned Iran for this violation. Iran responded on June 13 by announcing its intention to build a third uranium enrichment facility. Just hours after this announcement, Israeli bombs began to fall on Iran. At this point, it seems clear that Israel is sincere in its claim that it attacked Iran because of the nuclear threat the country poses. This claim is supported by numerous organizations that have warned about Iran's uranium enrichment activities. Iran did not improve its position by openly defying the UN with the announcement of a new enrichment plant. All of this leads to the obvious question: what happens next? From Israel's perspective, what happened on June 13 is only the beginning. That is the view of Israeli Chief of Staff General Eyal Zamir. Zamir added that Israel had been preparing Operation Rising Lion for a long time and urged the Israeli population to support the country's troops as the operation moves into its next phase. Unlike in the past, we are facing an enemy as a nation and as a regional power, with an army second to none. Beyond technology, operational means, and methods, we have one unique additional element: the Zionist and Jewish spirit that beats within us.